Welcome to the Empowered Women's Project, a podcast and community made by women for women to help you live your best life and reconnect you back to the things that really matter. Hey guys, it's Kate here today, and I'm jumping in with an impromptu episode, just something that happened, and I wanted to share this with you to see if this is going to give you a little bit of insight as well. You know, often we're so good at giving advice to everyone else in our life. We can see what their next right move should be, or what they should be doing differently, or what they could do better. But rarely do we see that within ourselves. We've got these blind spots that kind of stop us and sometimes protect us from actually seeing some of the tough things that maybe we just don't want to right now. Anyway, I wanted to share a really amazing process that you can do. It's so simple, yet so powerful to help you gain clarity and confidence in what your next right move should be in your life today. So let's jump in. Well, hey there. This is an impromptu little episode that I just wanted to record after just a cool realization that I had for myself. And it's interesting, you know, with all of the women that I get to coach all around the world from different ages and stages of life, whether they're pursuing that career, whether they're juggling mamahood or planning to be a mama and wanting to figure it all out. Let's be real, we never figure it all out. We're a constant work in progress. But what I wanted to share some insight around today was around scheduling time in your week to actually pause on life. Now, I get it. We're all busy, and most people will say we've never got enough hours in the day. We're time poor. It's go, go, go. And often when it's go, 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 rarely do we actually stop, slow down, take a helicopter view of life and go, what's actually working? What's not serving me anymore? What could I start saying no to? There's so many questions that come, flooding into our day, right? Am I doing a good job as a parent? My child is going through a different phase of life. How do I handle that? I got upset earlier at the kids. What's going on with me? Often we're too busy to be able to even answer those questions. What's my next move in business? I'm unfulfilled in this career right now. Should I do something else? What is my next move as far as building wealth and abundance in my life? Like, it's all there, but it's easy to just feel like we're so exhausted at the end of the day that, those things that are quite important to think about, we just don't have the energy or the headspace to stop, slow down, and reflect. And so we flick on the TV, we read a book, we zone out on social media or whatever our vice is, just to calm the mind a little bit so we can get to sleep. And if we don't carve out time in our week, it's really easy for it not to happen. Now, you've heard me talk about taking care of yourself, ladies, like, scheduling out that sacred time in your week or your month where you have something on the calendar that's fulfilling you, that lights you up, that fills up your cup, that's not about your partner or your kids or your boss or your girlfriend. It's about you. Now, it could incorporate any of those mentions that I just said, but it's about you doing something nice and fulfilling for yourself first. So I heard this concept the other day, and I want to shout out Amy Porterfield. She's got an awesome podcast. I love listening to her work around business and creating online, programs and courses, and she's brilliant at that. One of the things she touched on, and I heard this from another mentor as well, is having time in your week where there's nothing scheduled, and you actually just sit for an hour and you ask yourself all the questions that you wish that someone would answer for you. Like, for example, for me, I have some questions around, what I want to be known for, what I want my personal brand to be, where I'm going to start spending my time moving forward. We're homeschooling our children. They're 8, 10, and 12. I'm wanting to spend more time with them and really pouring into them. I also am passionate about raising healthy families, about empowering women through healthy pregnancy. Health is my jam. I love business. It's like, okay, I've got all these directions that I could go, but what's the right next move for me? And it can be really easy to go, oh, I'll ask that business coach. Oh, I'll ask her because she's a few years ahead of the journey than me. Oh, I'll ask my husband and see what he thinks. Oh, I'll go read another book or listen to another podcast to try and find the answer. Well, I know we all do it. I certainly have done it a lot. But what I decided to do this morning, and I've definitely done it before, but I haven't been as consistent as I would have liked, is actually just stopping with a journal and asking myself all of the questions that I'd love someone else to give me some insight on. It's kind of like taking a helicopter view of your life rather than being deep in the trenches of it and going, how is that working out? What's most important to me right now? What do I think is going to be most important in the next 1 to 3 years? And how is that going to play out in the decisions that I'm making today? How can I create more fulfillment? Whatever the questions are that are on your mind. And so when you do that, what we fail to remember is how amazing we are that we actually have the answers. We know the next right best move for ourselves. We don't need to keep looking externally at an expert or someone else to validate our choices. Sure, it's nice to talk about it, but you already know deep down the move you need to make. Sometimes we just don't give ourselves the quiet space to be able to acknowledge that, to think it through, and to gain clarity around the things that we really want to create. So, even this morning, as I have gone through this process for myself, I already have so much more clarity in my next right move. And I did not have that yesterday. And I definitely thought I need to phone a friend. I need to listen to something else to figure the next right move out for me. And that couldn't be further from the truth. So I just wanted to jump in with a quick little, message to share with you the power of stopping and asking yourself the questions that you want to know the answers to. Now, you can go even one step better and schedule like every Friday at 9 a.m. or, every Saturday morning at 7 when I go for my beach walk or whatever it is. I'm going to also schedule some time where I sit down. Now, you might be in the thick of kids and all those fun things that I definitely remember when my children were a little younger. So if that's the case for you, you want to do it at a time where you've got energy and your mind is clear. So I would suggest don't wait till the end of the day when you're tired, when you're leaving yourself kind of till last. I know sometimes, it's tough because you might not have a full night's sleep and it could be interrupted, but get up that little bit earlier or make the most of a nap time for the kids and do yourself a favor. The washing can wait, the chores can wait. You're not going to remember, that day the house was tidy, but you'll remember that day you gained more clarity on the next move that you need to make. And you'll feel so much more fulfilled, gaining that personal insight. And the choices that you're going to make are going to be ones that will be in alignment with who you are, your values, and how you want to live life. Because sometimes when we seek advice or validation from other people, sometimes it's not always going to land correctly. It's not going to be a long-term sustainable decision because they aren't you. And all they can do is give a little bit of wisdom, but it's up to you ultimately to make your decision. So whether it's buying that property, having a garage sale, whether it's quitting that job, whether it's looking for another income stream, whether it's deciding to start your own podcast or write that book or whatever it is, just know that you already have the answers. You know the answers. You just might be a little bit scared to actually schedule the time and get to the bottom of it. Sometimes it's easier for us to tell ourselves a story of, oh, I just need to catch up with that person and then I'll make that decision. Or I don't know how to start a podcast. So I'll just leave that till one day when I have time. Well, let's be real. That time will never come if you don't make that a priority. And so you have such wisdom and intelligence within you to know your next right step. You've got incredible resourcefulness within you as well, but we do such a great job of sometimes playing safe, where we'll just buy into a story of, yeah, I don't have that skill set. I'm not sure of my next step. I need to ask his or her opinion. I can't do this because. And so whatever story we're telling ourselves is going to be our reality. You know, our mind just believes what we tell it. So whether you're speaking possibility and potential and where you want to go, or you're speaking negativity and self-doubt and looking in the revision mirror of life, you know, either is right. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. My dad taught me that from a very young age. I remember when I was younger, I would get so anxious about simple little things, like so anxious to the point of being sick, whether it was jumping on stage for a dance concert, or sometimes it would be just something really, really simple, and I would just get so overwhelmed. And I remember he would pull me into their bathroom. They had this poem on the wall, and he would make me read it out loud. And it was all around, you know, if you think you can, you can't. You can, and if you think you can't, you can't. You won't. And it's all around the mindset. It's our choice, and it's the language we choose to use. It's a decision. And we can either keep buying into crappy stories that do not serve us, that keep us safe. And let's be real, our uncomfort zone is just as uncomfortable as our comfort zone. So what's really interesting is, you know, we might want to stay in the comfort zone, so to speak, right? But most of the time, there's a lot of pain there. There's a lot of unfulfillment there. There's a lot of frustration in our comfort zone. And so taking that leap of faith, making that decision that we know we need to make, that next right step, although there might be fear and the unknown, and what if I fail, and what if this doesn't work, there's also joy and incredible benefit on the flip side too. So you can choose to stay in your comfort zone and be uncomfortable and unfulfilled and agitated at times, or you can choose to get out of the comfort zone. And yes, there is going to be some growing and stretching and learning and fear and doubt and all those things that'll pop up. But also you're moving in a direction of greatness, of tapping into your potential, of, you know, showing the world who you are and what's truly possible. And whether that is you being just the most exceptional mama or partner, or whether that is launching a new business or writing a new book, or it could be launching a podcast or a new brand, or it can be as big or as small as you might think it is. It's just about you shining your greatness in the world, and you already have the answers within. I think that's really what I want you to get from this episode today, is just knowing you've already got what it takes, and you already have the wisdom and the advice to give yourself. Sometimes we're so amazing at giving and sharing our advice to someone else, but rarely do we listen to ourselves. You know, I was coaching with a beautiful woman last week, and she's a personal trainer, and amazing personal trainer, amazing mama, just huge heart. And she was beating herself up something fierce. Like, you could just see it. There was just this real defeat in her eyes and in her posture. And I said to her, you know, if you had a client, a PT client, come to you and they had a little bit of a whoops, maybe their eating plan didn't go as it was going to, maybe they didn't do the extra sessions they planned to at home, maybe they're just feeling really down and out about themselves, what would you share with him or her when they came to you for that next session, when you could see that in their eyes? And she started to share. I'm like, that's pretty amazing. So you already know what to tell this person, right? She's like, yeah, of course I do. I'm like, isn't it interesting that we can find that advice and compassion for someone else, whether it's a client or a stranger or a dear friend. We can find that compassion, but we often don't listen to our own amazing advice. Oh, aren't we complicated creatures? We're so unusual. And it's the beauty of life. There's so many gifts. And, you know, one of the things that I love about life is being able to be continuously curious, to learn and grow, to never feel like I know it all, that I'm always in a state of learning, whether that's learning from my kids, whether that's learning from business, from other people, but in a constant state of learning and curiosity. And I really, really, really hope that you find some time, just make yourself a priority and sit down and just start giving that beautiful advice that you would to others to yourself. And actually listen. Don't just brush it to the side and be like, yeah. No, if you were to give that to a client or a friend or a loved one, you know that you would really come from the heart and let them know how amazing they are, that we might have stuffed up, but we just need to keep moving forward. What's the next choice? What's the next decision that you can take today, right now, that will help you get back on path? And so I really hope that you do that for yourself, that you schedule a time to create a quiet space where you already maybe through the week are thinking about the questions that you want answered. And if you aren't sure of what they are, they're probably the things that are taking up a lot of headspace. What's my next right move about this? Should I stay in this relationship? Should I leave this relationship? How do I handle this, what's happening with the kids right now? What's my next move financially? What am I going to do about my health and well-being? I keep running this sabotage pattern and it's not okay anymore. You know what those questions are. So schedule the time, take the time, sit down and give yourself time and space to be able just to answer those questions. The answers are within. Be kind, be compassionate to yourself, and stop looking for external opinion and validation, because you already know your next right move. And when you actually listen to yourself and then start taking those steps, it will be long-term, it will be sustainable, it will be something that you stick with, because it's not something that's come from someone else, it's come from within you. So I hope that that's given you a little bit of insight today. I can't wait to hear feedback from you and just hear how you have taken that time for yourself. And as always, if you're resonating with this message, we would so love to connect with you. We've got a beautiful Empowered Women's Facebook community. You can also jump across to kategolle.com to learn more about how I get to coach and mentor and support women and families on their health and wellness journey, and also in business and through mindset. It's something that is so important to me, and I really, really hope that you have gained something from this today as well. So until next time, have the most incredible day. I look forward to connecting with you on a future episode, and take care.